Hello everyone, this is Greyshot, and I am back to do another creature feature review, this time with a monster that has 8 legs and you could consider a freak, though much bigger than the last pair of freaks we had, or multiple, hundreds. The thing about that is, it may be bigger, but that doesn't mean better. Although I think Godzilla really should have reinforced that notion. Octopus, not to be confused with the award-winning documentary My Octopus Teacher, is a direct-to-TV monster movie that was part of a large wave of monster movies released from New Image from the late 90s to mid-2000s. Even if films like Deep Rising or The Relic weren't commercial hits, Anaconda and Deep Blue Sea proved they could be. New Image's strategy was to have smaller budgets, roughly $5 million in this case, and ensuring that monster's name was in the title. Great strategy. This included revolutionary media such as Crocodile, Spiders, Shark Attack, and Octopus 2. And yes, Octopus 2 was in production before Octopus was even released. Now, I'm under the assumption that an executive must have seen something in Octopus to greenlight a sequel, seeing some amazing feat, but it's probably just financially motivated, which again, makes sense. They're trying to make profit off cheap movies. The thing was, when I was a kid, I did see this exact cover while going through and renting VHS monster movies. Rented Octopus, had a good time. Now, again, at the time, I had to be like 8, so I'm sure nostalgia played a factor, and that's why I wanted to go back and see it. See if this movie does hold up. Does this underwater Leviathan actually bring the chills and the terror that has never run so deep? Oh god, that tagline. Ladies and gentlemen, let's find out together, dive right in, and watch ourselves Octopus. The movie starts during the Cuban Missile Crisis as a Soviet submarine is being chased by an American submarine. It looks bad for the crew, but nothing a good Soviet bear hug can't fix. I don't know what hurt this man more, the bullet or the hug of betrayal. Don't worry, the Soviets aren't the only one trigger happy. The Americans also fire for absolutely no reason and send the Soviet sub to a watery grave along with the contents it was carrying. So many international laws being violated right now, including the laws of gravity. Now we don't get to ponder on that stuff too long as we get thrown into modern day Bulgaria. 2 CIA agents, Jay Harrington and Jeff Natal, as Special Agent Turner and Campbell, are supposed to be guarding a family in a US embassy in Sofia. Instead, they're hitting on every woman in town. And I do mean every woman, as they spot Mrs. Doubt Hellfire. Guys, instead of focusing on the girls, how about you focus on the bags? That's really where the C4 is going to be placed. I should know, I've been pulled over for having C4. I'm not joking. I've literally been pulled over by TSA because they thought I had C4. Fun fact, it was just brownies. Really delicious brownies. Both agents give chase, or whatever the hell you call this, after the terrorist, Casper, played by Ravil Isavanov. Agent Campbell gets taken out by a bomb, but if you look closely, you can see the time doesn't match up to when it should explode, which I would say would be the smartest thing about this movie. A bomb going off not when the timer said it would be. Unfortunately, I think it was just an error, but I'll give credit. Look, 1 point for you, movie. 1 point, and that's probably the only point you're gonna get. We get Discount Cooper refusing to shoot the fleeing villain, making Agent Campbell have to come back from the dead to make sure his killer doesn't get away. What a partner. I do want to bring up after that little sequence that this movie aired on USA Network, not Sci-Fi, which is where you would think this movie would end up in. Some executive probably saw that little snippet and was like, that's perfect for our network. I want it on ours. And also greenlight the sequel. I don't care what it is, greenlight it and make it immediately. That person was probably high on drugs, but that's the only reasonable explanation I can get why a giant octopus movie is somehow on USA Network. Casper is to be moved out of the country discreetly, so they wait by a lake, my apologies, ocean, so that way the stock footage can come pick them up. A detained Casper is brought on board a US sub by Agent Turner, where they meet Captain Shaw, played by David Beecroft. I know we're on a submarine, which is supposed to heighten claustrophobia, but I don't need to see what's inside their noses, thank you very much.
You know, I was a hero once. I actually captured a whole boatload of Iraqis in the Gulf action. Of course, I had to turn them right back over. Still pisses me off.
They are soldiers, which I believe under the Geneva Convention, would be returned to their native country. Unless they can build you some rockets, then you can kind of keep them around for a bit. They also meet Lieutenant Brickman and Dr. Lisa Finch, played by Rico Ross and Carolyn Lowry, in the middle of a strip poker game. Spoilers, it's a USA Network movie. If you're expecting to see something, prepare to be disappointed. However, maybe I might interest you in hot tub streams on Twitch. That said, they definitely teased the audience of this movie that something might be revealed.
Excuse me, I just have to get my panties.
It's not just the music and dialogue. Every single scene this character is in, she's either taking off or putting on clothes. Typically with someone watching her do it. She's a scientist, but instead of any of that interesting backstory, let's just have her flirt with Agent Turner.
Right before this, I apprehended these two really notorious...
Did he just shoot his gun?
Excuse me.
Oh, how scandalous! The man almost bumped her! Said the man that also teleported from the 50s to modern day. After a few days at sea, something damages the submarine's propellers, making the crew have to send out some divers in order to repair the damaged parts. However, they're then immediately attacked by the giant octopus, who can apparently roar. Guys, maybe just stick to one next time. Just small variations, but, you know, not everyone. Now, while talking about this thing's roar, I will say it's still struggling with the divers. This thing is 1,000 feet long and 200 feet wide based on my best guess, comparing it to the sub and the cruise ship later on. And this thing is struggling with the divers as if I'm struggling with ramen with chopsticks. I'm terrible with chopsticks, but at least I don't have the excuse that the chopsticks have suckers and literally the ramen can't drop from it. It's stuck. How are you having so much difficulty with these tiny little divers? Like, come on, monster, get your life together. As I give the pep talk to the octopus, the submarine has no idea what the hell is going on and decide to shoot first and ask questions later.
Yes! We've got it, sir. It's disappeared off the sonar.
We're 43 minutes into this movie and you didn't double tap. What do you think is about to happen?
Hold on! Sir, we've lost control! Change your station!
I thought so. Meanwhile, Casper in the confusion has escaped his cuffs and got himself a hostage. You're telling me that this isn't the most secure place to store a terrorist? Shocking. He convinces Agent Turner to put down the weapon, so let the hostage go, only to kill the hostage and knock out Agent Turner. At the same time, the crew is panicking as if they lost their Bitcoin account passwords, while the sub crashes into a trench 800 meters from the surface, which means...
We're crushed then.
Oh, and also you still have to fight a giant monster.
We know it's out there and we know it's not too friendly.
You're making an assumption, Captain. It lives here. You drove a nuclear sub through its living room.
You know what? She's right. We gotta be more sympathetic to giant underwater monsters. We gotta. Let's take another situation of this profound argument that she raised. Let's take Jaws. Bruce. Bruce was just a large fish, navigating through to Amityville, setting up shop. Alright? People knew Jaws was there. Again, the fact that people didn't tell everyone, that's their problem, but Jaws was there and Bruce so happened to see a seal. Look, it turned out to be a kid, but based on her logic, it was a tragedy. It was an accident. Look, you shouldn't have gone after Jaws in the first place. Jaws was there to begin with. It's an honest mistake, and honestly, all those fishermen that came out, unreasonable, based on her logic. And I'm so thankful that the writers of this movie took the time to really understand and go into this argument of hers, especially while there's probably dozens of crew members on this submarine dying right now. Really great time to really bring up this amazing argument. What great writers. Casper makes his way to the doctor's office, of course, as she's changing, so what? The crew's like, yeah, you can go change by yourself. We're not going to watch you this time. Just, you know, if you see Casper, just keep changing. That should distract him. Oh, I forgot to mention, there's a whole subplot of Casper's crew, taking over a cruise ship, murdering their way to be on top, kidnapping the captain's family so that way they gain control of him, making him divert course to the Atlantic. Remember, this is a cruise ship that left Bulgaria, so this is a long way off. To then pick up Casper, who had to send up a buoy and then somehow get to the surface in order to then be picked up in the cruise ship.
Okay, but why though?
They do manage to find Casper.
Guys, welcome to the party.
Okay, that's it.
How did you punch him? You were over 6 feet away in the last shot.
You're coming with me, and you're gonna keep your mouth shut while doing it. Do I make myself clear?
Okay, take it easy, Captain.
He's a mass murdering psychopath. Discount Ryan. Shut the fuck up and tie him up before... Okay, at least you tied him up. Can someone please slap some sense into this man? In a poorly edited shaky cam sequence, our heroes escape the trap and octopus tentacle, which, again, to scale makes absolutely no sense, and make it back to the command deck. We then hold uncomfortably long on a man about to eat lead. Movie, just why? Why are we watching this? Tonally, this just makes no sense. Honestly, you're going back and forth between cheesy moments and then this, which, again, is bringing me whiplash. Who thought this would be a good idea? The buoy reaches the surface, making Casper's friends call in air support to pick them up from the cruise ship. That doesn't sound too bad until you realize they're in the middle of the Atlantic. Then it's logic be damned. Lieutenant Brinkman then informs a group of heroes that all the crew are dead. Great work. And he took a look outside. Again, how is he viewing water 800 meters down and, you know, after a gigantic crash when there would be dust and debris coming everywhere? He does find a bunch of other wrecks, including a Soviet sub from the first scene. Discount Graham then fights and eventually subdues Discount Hannibal. I should say, I'm not bringing those two names up as a joke. I truly think Hannibal and Graham's relationship is similar to how it is in this movie, if it was written and directed by the man who had his brain eaten by Anthony Hopkins. Dr. Finch then determines from a water sample collected that the octopus got to such a colossal size, not because of radiation, you know, from possibly a nuclear missile, but
Anthrax virus.
Biological warfare.
Uh-huh. This stuff is a synthetic hybrid, very powerful.
although she didn't know what a skull and crossbones meant, so she could be lying out her ass. Symbolism or fan service? Tell me down in the comments below. Our heroes make a new plan of escape via the submersibles and distract the squid with some protein powder. I'm so glad none of the other crew members on this submarine managed to get to that submersible. Otherwise, our heroes would be screwed. And I'd kind of be for it.
Okay, let's get ready. I can't swim with these on.
I'm sure this won't backfire. Great job, guys. Brickman's dead, Casper's alive, and you overestimated the effectiveness of your plan. Way to go. Everyone loses.
Hey, Turner. Yeah? Bring any lemons?
Why?
Because I think we're about to nuke us up some calamari.
Calamari is squid, dumbass. Whatever. They somehow managed to escape the blast, seemingly killing the creature, and make it to the surface in the last 10 minutes of this movie. That's how long we get with the cruise ship, everyone. The thing that's on the cover, filled with the world's most uninteresting guests. They're brought on board and then immediately captured by Casper's crew. Why aren't they killed immediately? So Casper can gloat. Well, until the octopus comes back and starts killing all of his men. This allows the Doctor to once again undress to take out the remaining guard, allowing Agent Turner to finally settle the score with Casper. Now, you would think Agent Turner's arc in this movie would be him slowly working up the courage to take the shot to finally, kill Casper and rid the world of this terrorist, but even that plotline would be in a competent movie, and we all know this movie is far from that.
Oh, come on! Shoot him!
Not in cold blood. I can't.
Okay, you're a trained agent that has gone through probably numerous exercises and scenarios in order to combat terrorists, and that terrorist is not only armed, but you know for a fact killed dozens of people, including a kid that you met right before they exploded, so I'm having a real tough time figuring out why the hell you're not shooting, unless that Hannibal Graham situation I mentioned earlier is actually more on point than I even gave credit for in the beginning. Because hot damn, something's wrong in this action movie. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. The octopus is here to save the day and takes out the villain with a reverse deep throat maneuver. I guess the Doctor was right. The octopus is a sympathetic character because I have no sympathy toward that agent now. But no, we have to go and kill the octopus. So how are they going to do that?
Look, I couldn't shut it off, but maybe we can dump it over the side of those. Then, why don't we just, shove it down the damn thing's throat?
Let's just ignore the fact that that small bomb is somehow more dangerous than the complete arsenal of a nuclear submarine, or the fact with less than 3 minutes he somehow gets off the cruise ship into the submarine, piloted it down, and goes into the octopus's gullet. Now, with the octopus dead, we can kind of focus on some other plot lines, such as maybe the captain's family, who we know are still being held hostage by Casper's men, or who Casper's men and Casper are working for in the first place, or maybe the anthrax that the octopus had in its system, possibly coming into contact with the crew and everyone on board the ship. Well, sorry to burst your bubble, but none of this will ever be brought up again, not even in the sequel. But you know what is brought up? With Agent Turner living and Dr. Finch making out with the captain. Rational person's response would be, how'd he live, or why is she making out with a person that had no chemistry? Well, simple. Look, this movie's horrendous, and I'm not going to recommend it to anyone. Even though my brother says it's a so bad it's good film, I don't quite see that. But what I will say is thank you to New Images and the people who made this film, among other films like it, because without it, my fascination for B-movies, especially as a kid, would not have been cemented. So, hey, maybe next time just make a better movie, but thank you for helping create my love for monster movies. That's the least I can say. But what I will say next is, after a couple of things involving sharks, we'll be moving on to another creature feature review, this time featuring six-legged freaks. And by God, it's going to be much better than this. But until then, I'll see you all next time.